Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, FAA issues Lycoming engine connecting rod AD. Big-time drone racing comes to Reno. Santa Monica residents complain about emergency medical flight. Hello, I'm Laura Hutson. It's August 15th and this is Airborne Unlimited. The FAA has issued an airworthiness directive for the connecting rods in certain models of Lycoming engines and asked for comments on the AD. The AD requires an inspection of connecting rods and replacement of affected connecting rod small end bushings. It was prompted by several reports of connecting rod failures resulting in uncontained engine failure and in-flight shutdowns. The FAA says it has received 5 reports of uncontained engine failures and IFSDs due to failed connecting rods. This condition, if not corrected, could result in uncontained engine failure, total engine power loss, IFSD, and possible loss of the airplane. The FAA says this is an unsafe condition that requires the immediate adoption of this AD. The FAA has found that the risk to the flying public justifies waiving notice and comment prior to adoption of this rule because compliance is required within 10 operating hours. The FAA estimates that the AD affects 778 engines installed on airplanes of U.S. registry. The cost of compliance with the inspection aspect of the AD, including labor, is estimated to be $1,425 per engine, totaling $1,108,650 per inspection cycle for all U.S. operators. If the connecting rods need to be replaced, the FAA estimates that the cost, including labor and parts, would be $2,170 per engine for 4 cylinders, $6,680 for 6 cylinders, and $6,850 for 8 cylinders. The Reno Air Racing Association has signed an agreement with Multi-GP Drone Racing League to host the National Drone Racing Championship during this year's National Championship Air Races. The Drone Racing Championship will be held in the Air Races on-site drone zone. The addition of Multi-GP's National Drone Racing Championship into the Air Races allows our fans to experience exciting drone technology up close and personally. Tony Logoteta, Director of Finance for the Reno Air Racing Association, said, "While air racing remains our #1 priority, we are eager to incorporate this emerging entertainment into our lineup." Top pilots from each multi-GP regional qualifier who advance to their respective regional final will have an opportunity to advance to the championship, as the top 2 pilots from each of the 14 multi-GP regional finals will be invited. The 28 regional finalists will be joined at the championship by 117 other pilots who have proven themselves through other methods, such as highly ranked competitors from the regional finals and universal time trial leaderboards. In total, 145 pilots will compete at the championship, including the 2015 and 2016 multi-GP national champion Sean Night Fury Taylor, who will have the opportunity to defend his title. After the break, Santa Monica residents complain about emergency medical flights.
Based on the popular Sling 2 LSA, the Sling 4 was designed to be the most practical and desirable lightweight 4-place experimental aircraft on the market. Find out more about this 115 horsepower turbocharged airplane at airplanefactory.com.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Progressive Aerodyne's Sea Ray Elite offers turbocharged Rotax power and Garmin G3X touch avionics. Incredibly well equipped, you can fly away in this best-in-category amphib for less than $160,000. Visit searay.com for more details.
Welcome back. This may be the ultimate in NIMBYism. Some residents of Santa Monica living near the airport complained after a jet on a medical emergency mission departed from the airport just before 0500 on July 4th. The Santa Monica Observer reports that an email went out to residents as well as members of the City Council. One wrote, quote, Did these folks even think of the neighborhood day off to enjoy Independence Day? So rude. While there is a 2200 to 0700 curfew on takeoffs and landings at KSMO, exceptions are made for emergency medical flights. Airport Director Stelios McBride stated, "We received a number of complaints associated with yesterday's 4:55 a.m. departure. This operation was associated with an emergency aircraft flight for medical purposes. California PUC 21662.4 exempts emergency medical flights from local ordinances as long as the operator provides specific information regarding their departure." So apparently some residents of Santa Monica who live near an airport that was there when the majority of them bought their homes think that potentially saving a person's life is not worth disturbing their sleep for a few minutes early in the morning on a holiday. Every Tuesday, we're going to look ahead at some of the more interesting events in the aviation universe. Here's this week's Aero-Calendar. Coming up this August 19th through 20th is the Edmonton Air Show in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. The Edmonton Air Show is an entertainment spectacle that celebrates both the rich history and modern evolution of aviation, particularly in Edmonton. Edmonton Air Show performances will take place at Villeneuve Airport with the support of Edmonton International Airport in Sturgeon County. Performers include the Canadian Forces Snowbirds Jeff Ladder Air Shows, Skyhawks Canadian Forces Parachute Team, Gary Ward Air Shows, Brent Handy Aerobatics, Kent Peach Air Shows, Yellow Thunder, and more. Early next month on September 2nd through 4th, you have to catch the Canadian International Air Show in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The 2017 Canadian International Air Show is a culminating event of the Canadian National Exhibition and is held annually in accordance with the Canadian Air Regulations. This year, the show will take place Saturday through Monday, September 2nd through 4th from 1200 to 1500, with a practice day on Friday, September 1st from 1100 to 1400. Performers include the CF-18 National Demo Team, the Canadian Forces Snowbirds, the F-22 Raptor Demonstration Team, the U.S. Air Force Heritage Flight Foundation, and more. And finally, on September 7th, there is an NBAA Regional Forum at Morristown Airport in Morristown, New Jersey. NBAA Regional Forums bring current and prospective business aircraft owners, operators, manufacturers, customers, and other industry personnel together for a one-day event at some of the best airports and FBOs in the nation. Regional forums incorporate exhibits, static displays of aircraft and education sessions into one-day events located across the country to help introduce business aviation to local officials and prospective owners and operators, and to address any current issues in the regions. After these messages, new land remote sensing spacecraft on schedule.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. Progress is being made towards the planned 2020 launch of the NASA U.S. Geological Survey Landsat 9 spacecraft less than a year after winning the contract award in October 2016. Landsat 9, an advanced land surface mapping satellite, will collect space-based images and data that serve as valuable resources for researchers in areas that include agriculture, land use mapping, emergency response, and disaster relief. UK-based Storm Aviation has announced the launch of Airbus A320neo LEAP 1A differences training courses. This brand new training will start at London airports on September 11, 2017. The highly anticipated Neo LEAP 1A theory and practical training is a 4-day-long course to be provided at London Gatwick and London Luton airports in the United Kingdom. Pilot leaders at Frontier Airlines will ask their members to give them the authority to go on strike if negotiations break down and the federal government authorizes a walkout. ALPA's Frontier Airlines Master Executive Council voted unanimously to conduct a strike authorization ballot that will open on August 22nd and close on September 8th. The public is invited to join Westchester, Pennsylvania's American Helicopter Museum and Education Center to celebrate World Helicopter Day on August 20th, 2017 from noon until 4 p.m. World Helicopter Day aims to raise awareness of helicopters' contributions to society and celebrate diversity of people who design, fly, and support them. Scientists have discovered the strongest evidence to date for a stratosphere on a planet outside our solar system, or exoplanet. A stratosphere is a layer of atmosphere in which temperature increases with higher altitudes. This result is exciting because it shows that a common trait of most of the atmospheres in our solar system, a warm stratosphere, also can be found in exoplanet atmospheres, said Mark Marley, a study co-author based at NASA's Ames Research Center in California's Silicon Valley. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. The NTSB has released its probable cause report from a well-publicized accident which occurred May 8th in California involving an Icon A5 amphibious airplane. 2 people were fatally injured in the accident. The board places the responsibility for the accident on the actions of the pilot, who was performing a new employee familiarization flight with the passenger, whom the company had recently hired. A witness noted that as the airplane passed by his position and entered a nearby cove, which is surrounded by rising terrain on either side and at its end, he heard the engine rev up and accelerate hard as the airplane approached the right side of the canyon, in what appeared to be an effort to climb out. Subsequently, the airplane climbed to about 100 feet and entered a left turn, descending before it flew beyond the witness's field of view, where he heard the sound of impact after losing sight. The NTSB determined the probable cause of the accident to be the pilot's failure to maintain clearance from terrain while maneuvering at a low altitude. Contributing to the accident was the pilot's mistaken entry into a canyon surrounded by steep rising terrain while at a low altitude for reasons that could not be determined. Well, that's our program for today. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily Monday through Friday, with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, and do check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. See you tomorrow.